Hello and welcome to another Outlook cover discussion. This week's our edition is a most interesting subject, which all our readers would love to sort of know more and more about. It's on Goa, the state of Goa. And it's just not, there's so much written about Goa, the travel part, the sun, the sand, the sea. But we have, in this issue, we have tried to go a lot beyond that, on the cultural part of it more, the politics of it, the social setting, and as well as the environmental degradation that is taking place there. This is, of course, Chinky's. Chinky, our editor, has been working on this for a long time, and it's got some absolutely fantastic pieces as well as visuals, from various painters, and it's a really visually rich, written beautifully issue. We have with us Maya Bhushan Nagvenkar joining us from Goa. Hi, Maya Bhushan. Thank you very much for joining. And the issue begins with his story, and it's a very unique way of writing about Goa. It's a mix of fact and fiction. So Maya Bhushan tells the story through a mermaid called Goa, and it's a kind of a fable in that sense. But the rest of the story is absolutely factual, based on real incidents. So Maya Bhushan, actually, Chinky, if you would like to explain a little bit about talk a little bit about this whole concept of getting into a sort of a reportage through fiction.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've always believed in the role of poetry, fiction, art, all of it coming together in a collectivized, collaborative process in journalism. And that's how I think the new age of, and this has precedence, as we discussed in the morning, in gonzo journalism practiced by Hunter S. Thompson, Tom Wolfe, and all these writers, at that time. And a lot of people have kind of like not really, journalism also has its boundaries. And here we are trying to disrupt, and that's how we go about it. So why can't we tell an important story in a very experimental format? And basically, it actually has a very interesting background. I was in Goa, and the Maya Bhushan has always been there. He's a friend, and a lot of stuff that I got to know about Goa is through him. He's also my neighbor, and I'm one of those apocalypse bringers to Goa, who has a small studio apartment and all that. And that one night we went to, I told Maya Bhushan I want to go to a beach, because I don't ever go to a beach in Goa. I don't know what I do in Goa, and that night we said, okay, we'll go to Anjuna, that hippie. And obviously it had all changed, it didn't even look like Anjuna that I had seen many, many years ago. And we went to this Guru bar, and we were sitting, and we got this table like right on the beach, and even like, the waves were actually almost to our feet, it was that way, the concrete. And we were sitting there, and we were discussing this Goa thing, like how to do an issue about Goa. And the previous day we had gone to, in that trip, we had gone to Miriam, who's the cover artist, to her film screening. And that's where I saw that mangrove, which is the cover. And it kind of gave this direction to the issue in terms of ecological disaster that is pending. And obviously, we have been going to Goa, and there were all these other things. And these mermaids, I've seen these mermaids all over Goa, these indigo birds by Subodh Kerkar. And anyways, I have been interested in mermaids for a long, long time. That Copenhagen statue, and Vivek had taken me to this institute, Menezes Braganza, where he talked about these mermaids rising, and Venus in the Canto 9 of this epic poem about the voyage of Vasco da Gama. And so I was very intrigued by this figure of mermaid appearing everywhere. I kept asking Maya Bhushan, do you guys have folktales? And Maya Bhushan had sent a piece earlier which appeared in our weekend reads about this mermaid that's caught by a fisherman. And it's a fantastic piece of writing. It's also kind of, hints at this environment situation. So we were sitting there, and I said, hey, Maya Bhushan, why don't we do this story from the mermaid's point of view? Because there was a lighthouse in the distance. There was all this atmospherics at that time. And Maya Bhushan looked at me, and he's like, yeah, we can try that. And that's how this thing began. And we were like, okay, this is a huge risk. You don't do a cover story in a fictional format. And we're like, okay, let's give it a try. Let's figure this out.
No, it's in the end, it's worked out quite well. But Maya Bhushan, were you stumped when you started, to tell a proper, a reportage through a fable? Were you a little hesitant in the beginning?
And nothing which Chinky tells me stumps me anymore.
Because of the zombie
But
thing. It's like nobody has ever asked me to write about zombies in Goa.
yeah, because I think the end tells the story. I think we managed to do it pretty well. I mean, this was the fourth draft. I think Chinky read through a few drafts earlier.
Yeah.
And finally, it's all about storytelling, right? Whatever the medium, whatever the context, it's the manner in which you say it, which really works.
Yeah, actually, what really works is, how it fuses. I mean, the real incidents that you talk about, say a body being found of a foreigner, the way that
The whole
becomes
thing
part
flows.
of the fable. Yeah, that's very interestingly done.
It also helps you fill, I mean, fiction as a format, I think also helps you fill gaps which a very straitjacket format of journalism does not. I think that's where the the coming together fuses very well, because in reportage you probably use one eighth of the material you've collected in a story. I mean, there's so
Correct.
much more with experience which you can't write about, and I think this is an opportunity to kind of put that across.
That's true. And the descriptive part, I mean, you get to play with that. I mean, there is so much to
Yeah,
sort of, describe the, how something happened rather than just it happened.
exactly. And the
Yeah.
hows, the whys can be explored in a
Correct.
much richer manner in
Yeah.
this, in the way we've gone.
And
Yeah.
Maya Bhushan, if you tell us how you kind of, we had these several discussions about this mermaid character, but it was Maya Bhushan who actually, I was also stumped when he sent me this first para on WhatsApp just to see if it is working, because
Mhm.
both of us were like, I don't know if it will work, if it will not work. And he had named the mermaid Goa. And the one thing that struck me, that he had made this mermaid an old mermaid, because we've always grown up with these seductive kind of, which is also this feminist, where feminists have spoken about it. If you look at the Little Mermaid in Hans Sander Christian, his this children's book called The Little Mermaid, which is actually a very, very
Yeah,
tragic,
yeah.
but also the whole feminist take on these kinds of depictions of mermaids. And mermaids also stand for ecological, there's that symbolism as well. And I thought that what really was brilliant was to name this mermaid Goa, and kind of make her, there's this description where the barnacles are there, and it's an aging mermaid who hasn't aged well, because obviously that whole metaphor thing, and we've
Yeah.
had so many discussions about metaphor, is about Goa aging in that sense, not
Yeah.
aging well.
Yeah. And though, I mean, it is, of course, told as a fable, in the end, it's actually a very disturbing, sad tale of
It is.
a mermaid, of a place getting degraded, getting completely sort of, by foreigners, by unthinking politicians, So, Mayabhushan, what is the, I mean, like I said, it's in the end, actually hardcore reporting. So, it's after reading the story, what is the way out, you think? I mean, even now there are only more and more outsiders trying to get there. Mining is going on. The fragile ecology. I'm told some new railroads are going to be cutting through the forest. So I mean, this pain that you put there of the mermaid. Is there any way of reducing it, you think, or is it only getting worse?
Satish, I think change is inevitable. Degradation is also inevitable. Corrections are expected, but the speed with which things are happening, I think that is an issue, because there's no time to assess, course correct. Uh, I mean, the nature of things which are going on in Goa. I think the
Yeah,
speed with which a lot has changed in terms of influx, outflux, excessive exploitation. Those scales are a bit too severe, and I think by the time you wake up or you just blink your eye and you open them again, that I think uh, you'd find that it would it's on the road to a place where there's no correction. There can be no correction.
in fact, we have environment activist and writer Claude Alvarez also writing on this in
So
this
it's a
issue.
fantastic
A
piece. Yes.
very powerful piece about about the, as you were just saying, the haphazard manner, the
Hmm.
thoughtless manner that development is happening. Anybody is doing what they want.
No, and also I think in the media also, Goa, at least in the mainstream media, it's all about this. And I spoke with Miriam as well in the morning, and it's all about Goa as this Beverly Hills kind of destination, and the charms of Goa, the resorts in Goa, and all of these like things in Goa, this escape and this elsewhere place, which obviously is a place as well in Goa, which doesn't give out its address. And a lot of it, I was in Hampi, and there was this whole discussion about this hotel chain and how they're going to build 20 or 40 more hotels in Goa, and at 20,000 to 30,000 rupees a night. It also led me to think about this whole capitalist kind of a situation, and how long do you fight money, and how do you fight money? Because this kind of money, Goa has never seen before, and for the longest time, Goa did resist. And Goa has a very interesting political fabric to it. There's this temple town, Ponda, and I wanted to ask Maya Bhushan the process of writing this, because I did not write this. I mean, I was just there, the step by step. I mean, we did discuss that this mermaid will be going to all these places and kind of looking at the landscape, and all of these pointers were there. But how was the process, Maya Bhushan, to kind of, build this character and to build that story? Like, how did you place those encounters? How did you choose those encounters? And how did you kind of, pick up these things? And how did you let the story flow the way it flows?
Chiki, the challenge always was to balance fiction and fact in a mixed genre like this. The other challenge was, how do you create such a radical fictional narrator in a news magazine, right? So
Yeah.
one of the ways was to make her identify with something which we are writing about, which is Goa. And I think that itself, that became the perfect metaphor. As you know, I'm in training, became the perfect metaphor to tell the story. I think the moment there was a mirror, both a two-way mirror between Goa, the mermaid, and Goa, the territory. I think it came together.
No, and the process of writing, like building up like those things, and how did you write in the night? What did you think of when you were writing? Because we all kind of like when I was writing that intro thing, I was looking at this book about the stuffed whale, the melancholy of resistance, and things come together in various ways. And in your piece, how did you put it all together? The process, how did you kind of write that?
Switching between cafes and switching between my day jobs. I think that was the process. I mean, I do write at night. It always is a great productive time for me, and this was something so exceptionally new, which I had never even thought about, a concept like this, and it's a privilege to have written a piece like this.
And of course, in the magazine, apart from the the ecological disaster that is happening there, the other factor that we are looking at is also the changes in the society itself. As we were saying, there is a big part of the magazine is actually about the Sanatan Sanstha, which is of all places based in Goa. In fact, I think it's one of the few times that somebody from there has actually spoken to a national news media, Chinky, when Chinky got the interview outside there, and that's big part of the story, and there's a full story about them.
Yeah, and Maya Bush was a big part of that as well, and how we kind of discussed it. And actually, it's funny how this Goa issue also kind of worked, because it was Jack Fukija and me, and he was trying to tell me about the old conquest and the new conquest, like trying to explain, and he ended up in Ponda, and he's like, "Oh, you want to have chai at this place, and then you want to go see Sanatan Sanstha?" I said, "Yeah, why not? I mean, we've been trying to get their interview, and they don't meet us or whatever." And we just landed up there, and suddenly, somebody came out and he said, "Okay, yeah, we'll give you the spokesperson's number." And this guy said, "Okay, you come and meet me on the 21st." And we were like, "Oh, this was it." And that, I mean, because for years we have been trying, I've been trying, and they never kind of let us in. And then it became so easy. It just was a chance encounter kind of a thing. And most of the Goa issue actually was a series of
a chance encounter.
Yeah, complete chance encounters with people, with all these, interesting places as well. And and I think the best thing about is that it was a set of friends who actually I've just come to know like just a year, and they helped me so much. Like I felt sick, Maya Bhushan would give me food also, and would kind of help in terms of. So I thought that was a very beautiful process, and I think that's what Miriam also talks about. That there's hope also in terms of these artists coming together to save the mangroves. Obviously, the audacity of hope and ambition of a scale like that, but still there is this thing.
What Miriam is doing is also a format in the making.
Yeah.
It is. And I think the way out is a collaborative process with all the people kind of involved, and just go and disrupt things in that sense. And I think Goa is all about disruption in a way that has never been seen before. And that whole thing, I mean, in the Sanatan package, you have a fantastic intro by Maya Bhushan, who talks about this whole temple town thing and the temple resurgence. And he has written a piece for us in a previous issues of Outlook as well.
Yeah.
And Haima's piece is there on this whole allegations that were there, and the whole history of Sanatan Sansthan.
Yeah.
What it is the extreme right-wing organization, and it may look simple, but a lot of work goes behind this kind of stuff to understand.
Absolutely.
We met somebody who had spent considerable number of years in Sanatan Sansthan to get the other side. A lot of it may not be there, but a lot of things informs us about what it is and how to go about it. And luckily, they answered all the questions, even about the sex cult allegation and everything else. And it was quite and of course, I mean, because it was such a collaborative process, I think the bread piece, like this bread and migration, which is a fantastic piece.
Cultural aspects of it, that Fado singing, I mean, singer. Then there's a really delightful piece by Jack also.
Yeah, and Fado, like, I've always been intrigued by Fado, and I think in the early on in Goa, I stumbled upon this, and I was friends with Sonia Shilsat on Facebook, and I'd never met her. And it was a privilege to kind of, hear her sing. And Jack helped us a lot with looking for spaces, organizing things. So it was a very beautiful experience. You are somebody alone in Goa, and there are all these people coming to help, everybody willing to write. And I thought the best way to do it was to get the Goans to talk about Goa rather than us talking about Goa.
As always, I mean, there is a lot to read in this issue. In fact, it's a very, very rich, and it'll last more than a week, I'm sure, if one starts to read from back cover to cover. So all
and
these
there's a
are
lot
there.
of stuff online. We actually
and there's so much more on our website. Yes, in fact, we've started putting them up in packages, in small bits, in curated form. Right now, it's on right now on www.outlookindia.com. Do log in, do pick up the copies. You'll be there's a rich gold mine of articles there.